Good morning and happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. Today we're going to continue reading chapter 14. Where we last left off, the crawlers, which are the cockroaches, were trying to decide whether or not they wanted to join the quest. And here's where we start off. Now what? Thought Gregor. They needed 2 roaches, and it said so in the Prophecy of Gray. If the roaches didn't come, could they still rescue his father? We have asked them to rethink their proposition, said Solivet. They know the rats are on the march. This may sway them in our direction. Or in the rats, muttered Luxa. And Gregor secretly agreed. The roaches had debated trading overlanders to the rats even when they knew the rats would eat them. And that was yesterday when there was no war. If boots hadn't been so appealing, no doubt they would be dead now. The roaches weren't fighters. Gregor thought they would do what was best for their species, and the rats were probably the stronger ally. Or they would be if you could trust them. What makes the roaches think they can believe the rats? Said Gregor. The crawlers do not think in the same manner we do, asked Gregor. Or said Vicus. How do you think? How do they think? Asked Gregor. Without reason or consequence, Henry broke in angrily. They are the stupidest of the creatures in the Underland. Why, they can barely even speak. Silence, Henry, said Vicus sharply. Gregor glanced back at Temp and Tick, but the roaches gave no sign they had heard. Of course they had. The roaches didn't seem too bright, but it was just rude to say it in front of them. Besides, that wasn't going to make them want to come along. Remember you, when Sandwich arrived in the Underland, the crawlers had been here for countless generations. No doubt they will remain when all thought of warm blood has passed, said Vicus. That is a rumor, said Henry dismissively. No, it's not. Cockroaches have been around like 350 million years, and people haven't even been here 6, said Gregor. His dad had showed him a timeline of when different animals had evolved on Earth. He remembered being impressed by how old cockroaches were. How do you know this? Luxa spoke abruptly, but Gregor could tell she was actually impressed. It's science. Archaeologists dig up fossils and stuff, and they can tell how old things are. Crawlers, are really old, and they've never changed much, said Gregor. He was getting on shaky ground here, but he thought that was true. They're very sleepy. Oh, sorry. They're pretty amazing. And he hoped Temp and Tick were listening. Vicus smiled at him. For a creature to survive so long, it is, no doubt, as smart as it need be. I do not believe in your science, said Henry. The crawlers are weak. They cannot fight. They will not last. This is how nature intended it. Gregor thought of his grandma, who was old and dependent on the kindness of stronger people now. He thought of Boots, who was little and couldn't yet open a door. And then there was his friend Larry, who had to go to the hospital emergency room 3 times last year when his asthma flared up and he couldn't get air into his lungs. Is that what you think, Luxa? Said Gregor. Do you think something deserves to die if it's not strong? It does not matter what I think, if that is the truth, said Luxa evasively. But is it the truth? That is an excellent question for the future ruler of Regalia to ponder, said Vicus. They ate quickly, and Vicus suggested they all try to sleep. Gregor had no idea if it was night or not, but he felt tired and didn't object. While he spread out on a thin woven blanket at the edge of the chamber, Boots tried to teach Temp and Tick to play patty cake. The roaches waved their front legs in confusion, not understanding what was going on. Pat cake, bake a man. Bake me cake fast you can. Pat it, pick it, mark it with a B. Put it in the oven for Big Bug and me, sang Boots, as she clapped and touched the roach's feet. The bugs were completely baffled. What sings the princess, what sings? Asked Temp. Or maybe it was Tick. It's a song we sing with babies in the Overland, said Gregor. She put you in it. That's a big honor, he said. She only puts someone in a song if she really likes them. Me like Big Bug, said Boots with satisfaction, and sang the song again with the roaches. Sorry, guys. She has to sleep now, said Gregor. Come on, Boots, sleepy time. Say good night. Boots spontaneously hugged the roaches. Night, Big Bug. Sleep tight. And Gregor was glad she left out, don't let the bedbugs bite. Gregor snuggled down with her under the blanket on the hard stone floor. After her long nap, she wasn't very sleepy. He let her play with the flashlight a while, clicking it on and off, but he was afraid she'd run down the batteries, and it was making the Underlanders restless. Finally, he got her to settle down and sleep. As he drifted off, he thought he heard Timp, or maybe it was Tick, whispering, Honors us, the princess honors us. He didn't know what woke him. By the stiffness in his neck, he must have been lying on the hard floor for hours. He drowsily reached over to pull Boots' warm body next to him, but he found only cold stone. His eyes snapped open and he sat up. His lips parted to call her name as his vision came into focus. No sound came out. Boots was in the center of the big round chamber, rocking from foot to foot as she turned calmly in a circle. The flashlight she held illuminated the room in sections. He could see the figures stretching out in every direction in perfect concentric rings. They swayed in unison, some to the left, some to the right, with slow, mesmerizing movements. In total silence, hundreds of cockroaches were dancing around Boots. And that's the end of chapter 14. Tomorrow we will read chapter 15. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I look forward to reading to you tomorrow.